Just wondering, do you notice things changing as you get older? I mean, like really changing. Like my hands look different. I've always had these long, skinny, strange hands, but I feel like my knuckles, I almost said my knee knuckles, my thumb knuckles are changing. And I know that my mother's hands started to, arthritically, the thumb started going in more. And I feel like that's starting to happen. I can't really put my finger on it, but they don't look the same as they used to. And it's really it's interesting, right? To be inside of a body and see it just really sort of doing what it wants to do. Um, yeah, it's happening with my feet. It's happening with my hands, um, with my midsection. And I don't know. I would think that I would be really, really bothered by it, but I'm actually kind of intrigued. You know, I don't feel old inside, but if I think about what my life has uh, been, then I feel like, oh my God, there's just like, I feel like I've lived 4 lifetimes. Um, and not as a negative thing, just it's taken me a lot. I think it takes us all a lot to grow up and to really grow up. You know, I thank God that I ran into alcohol and used it the way that I did, because if I hadn't used alcohol the way that I did, it wouldn't have, got me to a point where I realized that if I kept drinking, I was going to kill myself. Um, and if I hadn't gotten to that place, I wouldn't have been forced to face myself and my fears and my resentments and my anger and my pain. You know, I had to face myself because alcohol was my medicine against the pain, and my medicine started to really kill me. And the only way I was going to survive is if I stopped drinking. But what do you do when it hurts so bad? Just life, just what you've been through, what you've seen, who you've lost. You know, medicine is supposed to help, but when the medicine starts to kill you, and I was left with the option of not being able to drink anymore. I mean, I could drink again. It just would bring me right back to where I had been, which is not a place I want to live in anymore. And so the alternative is living life on different terms, instead of being run by fear of what I want and don't have, or losing something that I have that I don't want to lose, not getting what I want. These are the kinds of things that drive us, right? Think right now, think of 2 things that you're struggling about in your life and see if you can't whittle them down. And you'll probably find that the struggle is really you just trying to manipulate reality and find a way to keep something that you don't want to lose or get something that you really want to have, instead of trusting what the universe will bring us, or trusting the flow of money or energy or people through our lives. We don't trust, we don't have faith, so we manipulate because we fear losing. It's human nature. It's nothing to be judged about. I'm not judging us. I'm just saying it's a trip. It's a trip that as we age, our bodies change, our perspectives change, our capacity changes, and my worries change. I'm finding my worries soften. What a relief that is. Not all the time. One of the things that I used to worry about a lot is that I was too much. because I've always been a real sensitive kid. And I've always felt a lot, seen a lot, experienced a lot inside. And it was a lot going on inside for there to be anything happening outside. It's just too much stimulus sometimes. And there's probably mental health diagnoses for that, or psychoanalytic. God only knows. I don't know. What I do know is I have an incredible wife who is so supportive in every way, and she's just got the most tender heart, and she's just sincere. And the other day I was having one of these mini meltdowns, and I mean mini, meltdown's probably a little dramatic, but I was having a moment where I was feeling really self-conscious about feeling disconnected from my family. I've got family all around the country, and the plane trips that it would cost, that I'd need to take to spend time with them, I just can't afford. So I was feeling really like I was having a rough time with that, and I'd had a rough day at work with a person in the office, just personality stuff. And I come home like wounded, and I don't want to be wounded, and my wife doesn't feel good. And so I just want to pull it together, pull myself together. And I try, but it's just leaking all off of me. And so finally my wife comes in and we start talking. And, we've got this rule that when we feel most absolutely like we need to shut down, kind of to protect ourselves, that's when we say a little prayer and ask God for the courage and the strength to move in instead of move away. And it's one of the reasons I'm so grateful for this relationship, because she's willing to do that hard stuff with me. So this night I was feeling pretty self-conscious and feeling like I was just a big bumbling mess of needy. And she had tears rimming her eyes, and she put her hands on my face and she said, "Honey, you live from your heart center all the time. That's a really hard place to live. Some people barely visit it, and you live there all the time. It's what makes you so good at the other things that you do. I'm sorry, it's hard." And she kissed me on the forehead. That's ridiculous. And I think, how did I get so lucky? And then I remember, I'm a grateful alcoholic. Life hurt. I turned to alcohol. It worked for a while. It medicated my pain. It made life easier. It allowed me to be boisterous when I was afraid. But then it stopped working. What a gift. It stopped working, and I had to find a better way to live, a different way to live without substances. I had to turn to God. I had to turn to face myself. And I had to deal with the stuff that alcohol was trying to soothe. And it's been an awful lot of work. And from time to time, I get a real moment of clarity when I'm sitting there with a beautiful woman's hands on my face, tears rimming in her eyes, telling me it's okay, that you need a little extra love tonight. It's because you live from your heart center. And so does she. Where are you living from? Are you willing to take the risk to visit your heart center from time to time and get to know yourself there? It's not always easy, but I promise you, it's so worth it. Have a good night.